You're welcome. The budget report from Abia State has sent shockwaves through the political landscape. Abia Governor Alex Otti's administration, which is just a few months in office, reportedly disbursed a staggering 927 million naira on meals and welfare packages and other expenses within a mere 3 months. Tonight, we will dissect this startling revelation, aiming to uncover the implications of such lavish spending on governance and public welfare. You can see some of the figures on your screen. Joining us to shed light on these controversies, I'd like to welcome to the program tonight Ferdinand Ekeoma. He's a special advisor to the man himself, Governor Alex Otti, on media and publicity. Good evening to you, Mr. Ekeoma.
Good evening, my brother. Thank you for having me on the show.
We also have a political analyst joining us from Umuahia, the Abia State capital, and his name is Mr. Kalu. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
All right. I know we've all had the chance to see these figures, but if we can just put the slide document on our screen so our viewers can follow along and they understand. This is a report from Abia State government of its revenue and expenditure between July and September. You can see there's a comparison done by a non-governmental organization based on the report, the Q3 report of Abia State, comparing it to Benue State. If we go to the first one, we can see that in terms of revenue, Abia State made 25.21 billion naira in Q3, July to September 2023. And of course, the internally generated revenue was 3.3 billion naira, which marked a 43% decline from the 5.72 billion naira reported in Q3 of the preceding year, 43% decline. So it means that the revenue in Abia State had fallen. Now, compared to Benue State, which made a higher revenue, excluding borrowing, of 49.7 billion compared to 25.2 billion in Abia State, and a higher IGR of 8.2 billion compared to 3.3 billion by Abia State in the period under review, with increased IGR of 26.9%. Now, the comparison by this civil society group or this private organization known as Econ Consults is to show that a state like Benue State that has an increasing IGR profile reduced, had a lesser revenue, or rather lesser expenditure, I'm sorry about that, compared to Abia State. So for instance, we see that the expenditure of Abia State running the governor's office from the first slide for the Q3 2023 is 5.32 billion naira, which forms 21.1% of total revenue in the period under review. You can look at that there, the second section. But for Benue State, the cost of running the governor's office is put at 584 million naira, which is 1.2% of total revenue. So you look at 21% of total revenue for Abia State compared to 1.2% of total revenue for Benue State, just to run the governor's office. It goes on and on and on. I won't dwell too much on that, but to ask our guests their questions. I'll start with you, Kalu. This report, this budget analysis from Abia State highlights, substantial spending by the Alex Otti administration, including 927 million naira on meals. You have honorarium, you have welfare packages. How significant, Kalu, how significant are these figures in the context of fiscal responsibility and governance ethics?
Okay, thank you so much. You see, every state has its specs and its uniqueness, and Abia absolutely has its own uniqueness. But then what's important is what are the activities and what are the things that these monies are spent on, even though the government has come out to say we did not spend as much as that. That was the amount that was budgeted. We did spend as much as that as running the governor's office. It wasn't about running the governor's office. But then if that is true, our concern should be, what are the activities that has led to this?
All right, we seem to have a network problem with Peace Kalu. So I'll go straight to the government man in the building, Ferdinand Ekeoma, Special Advisor to the Governor of Media and Publicity. What's the response of the Abia State government to the publishing or the analysis of its finances?
Thank you, my brother. I hope you can hear me clearly.
Loud and clear.
Thank you. We've responded, and we decided to respond with facts and figures. We also understand that a whole lot of people, in spite of the fact that you are looking at figures, do not even understand our situation in Abia and what we met on ground. For example, the claim that we spent 927 million is false, baseless and unfounded, because they said spent on welfare and others. And if you go to the table you published there, you will see the two subject matters which are generating this hula. One is what they said we spent on meals and refreshments, and another one is welfare. Now, meals and refreshment, it is clearly stated there. What was spent was or is 223,389,899 naira 84 kobo. That is what is contained there. And now, meals and refreshment. This was what was spent across the entire state, the entire government, not the governor's office, so to say, the entire state. And let me tell you one thing, in Abia State, for a reason or for reasons best known to those we succeeded, they moved key agencies of government, institutions that should be standing alone. Can you hear me?
Yes, please go on.
To dwell in the office of the governor. Agencies like Abia State Fire Service, Abia State Orientation Agency, Abia Transports, State Road Safety Management Agency, and the rest of them. There are many agencies. Like I said, for reasons best known to them, all these agencies were moved away and pushed to dwell in the office of the governor. So everything that you do, everything that was spent in each of these agencies is captured to have been spent under the office of the governor. So the figure that was spent on meals and refreshments, please, like I said, it is there. 223 million during the period under review. And this money in question, for example, you have hundreds of security agents that work in different government agencies, including Government House, who are fed on daily basis because they are not allowed to go out and eat. Every kobo that has been spent during the period under review for these people was captured in these meals and refreshment. When you heard the Abia Day celebration and all the rest of them, every kobo that was spent captured here. So if you look at this critically, you begin to ask yourself, how is this specific amount I just mentioned here outrageous during the period under review across the entire states, for the entire ministries and agencies and all the rest of them? How is it outrageous? Because they try to bring confusion by mentioning 900 and something aspect on welfare. Then the second figure there, go back to the same DC, you see where it is clearly stated. On welfare is 397,520,734 naira 84 kobo. It is contained there. Welfare. Then what is the welfare? There is what is called State Fiscal Transparency, Accountability and Sustainability Program, STEFAS. I know you are aware of it. Created by Federal Government of Nigeria in conjunction with World Bank in 2020. We are talking about what we inherited, not what we created as a state. What federal government in conjunction with World Bank created. And all the allocation made there for the welfare. Welfare here in question is not a refreshment, it's not food, it's not personal expenditures incurred by the governor or his office. This was what was spent across the entire ministries of the state by the government. And this welfare are funds used for interventions in support of individuals, persons with all kinds of challenges. For example, remember I said it was created in 2022. It was established in 2022 as a measure to cushion the COVID-19 effects. For example, on assumption of office, let me use instance so that
right.
you.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you to just comment on the fact that the cost of running the governor's office in Abia State is more than the cost or the amount the government spent on education, healthcare, and others. Let's just talk about education and healthcare, which are two very cardinal points. So I want you to focus on the 5.32 billion naira for a second, sir, Mr. Ekeoma. Tell us about that. Why is the Abia State government spending 21.1% of its budget or expenditure in the month or the third quarter of 2023 on the running of the governor's office? It costs more to run the governor's office in Abia State than to run education or healthcare in Abia State, and that is unacceptable.
I was talking, I don't know if you stopped hearing me. I was talking.
To comment on the 5.32 billion naira spent in the governor's office, to run the governor's office in July, August, and September this year. And I'm saying that from the analysis, that amount of money, 5.32 billion naira, is 21.1% of the total revenue accruable to Abia State in the period. Also, it is higher than the amount of that revenue spent on education and health. Out of that revenue, 2.9% on education and 4.4% on health, which is unacceptable. Sir. Ferdinand, can you hear me, please?
I didn't get you, please. I didn't hear you.
All right. But can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Go ahead.
All right. I'm asking for your comment on the 5.32 billion naira total money. Did you hear that, please?
Okay.
Yes, 5.32 billion naira total expenditure on running the governor's office, which is 21.1% of the total revenue in the period under review, and which is way higher than the Abia State government spent on education in the period under review, which is 737 million naira, or 2.9% of the total revenue. And that amount spent on the governor's office is also higher, way higher than the amount spent on healthcare for the people of Abia State, which is 1.12 billion naira in the period under review, or 4.44% of the revenue. And I'm saying that by all standards, that is unacceptable. So please explain that to us.
Thank you once again. If you clearly heard me and understood my initial explanations, you would completely agree with me that this money, and of course, that would have been crazy for if you actually understand and know who Alex Otti is. You would agree with me, you would know that it's an impossibility. I said, let me give you an example. When we came on board, what we met here as the total number of staff in government house alone was 800 and something, almost 900 persons. You can contact people who worked in the previous government or ask the previous government to show you evidence of the total number of people that were working in government house. I said 800 and something. Don't take my word for it. You can go and make your own independent inquiry. Everybody was alarmed. And that was why I told you that for whatever reasons, for reasons best known to them, they moved agencies, all kinds of agencies, to dwell in the office of the governor. So you got this office of the governor. It is not actually the money spent by the governor. This total amount you are mentioning. These include funds that were used to pay salaries. This includes funds spent on payment of salaries of people working in the aforementioned institutions.
Hey, we'll go for a break. We'll be right back. Please stay with us. Welcome back. Still watching Politics HQ, so discussing the finances of the Abia state government. Before we went on that break, we had Ferdinand Ekeoma, special advisor to the governor of Abia State on media and publicity, and Peace Kalu, political analyst, both joining us from Abia State. But before we go back to Peace, Ferdinand, you were giving us a bit of a breakdown, explanation to that 5 billion naira spent running Government House. And you're saying that the former administration had employed more than 800 people who were paid under Government House. So are these monies just simply for salaries, the 5.2 billion naira or so? Ferdinand?
That's 800 and something. Please, it's important to have this record straight.
Do you have the exact figure?
Staff of Government House. I wasn't even talking about people working in different agencies that are also domiciled in Government House. It's important we have this thing correct. I mean, only people, the number I gave you, the people alone working in Government House. You come into one office, you see 7, 10 persons sitting down doing absolutely nothing. They saturated this place with people, and most of these people were owed several months of salary arrears. Don't forget that the governor had made a promise not to owe anyone. The governor, first and foremost, started by clearing this humongous backlog of salary arrears. And I've also told you that in those agencies like Fire Service, Orientation Agency, Abia Transport, State Road Safety Management Agency, Homeland Security, and all the rest of them, that are domiciled in the office of the governor. Best known to them, for whatever reason, these agencies should not have been domiciled in the office of the governor. Most of them were being owed several months of salary arrears. So it is important for you to understand this money was not spent for the governor and on the governor. No, most of them were salary arrears that were paid and salaries that are still being paid. This thing is subject to investigation. It's very important. You can investigate independently and ascertain the facts. So it has nothing to do. The governor is not such a person, and everybody knows that. That's the truth. People know that. And if we were indulging in such, malfeasance, the things we've done in this state, we will not be able to do it. That is the truth. We will not be able to do it. The giant strides people can attest to, we've recorded in the health sector, will not be achieved. And let me say something about the education sector, because this is very important. When the governor came on board, he declared state of emergency on security, on infrastructure, on the health sector, and in the education sector, all of them, and of course, in waste management. What the governor has done in the education sector is to set the roadmap for the transformation of our education system. So it is just about 2 weeks ago, and this thing followed due process. It's just about a week ago, or 2 weeks ago, that the contracts awarded for the model schools we want to build in different parts of the state, the 3 senatorial districts, were awarded or approved by the government. But the health sector, we considered it an emergency, carried out those interventions we have done. We have commissioned 6 strategic roads.
Ferdinand.
Which is making the 7th one. So we're talking about
Ferdinand. Yes, Ferdinand Ekeoma, sorry. So if majority say most of this, that 5.32 billion naira was spent to pay the salaries of about 800 persons who the former governor. Can I land, sir? Please, can I land? I just want to ask my question.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir, please.
How am I
Excuse me. You're misquoting me. Please hear me clearly. Don't. Please don't do intentional misrepresentation.
You said, Ferdinand, you said most of the money was used to pay salaries. That's what you said, and you said that the former. I'm just trying to understand you better. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Ferdinand, go on.
Excuse me. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me, sir?
I can.
Please don't misrepresent me. I didn't say so. Please. I didn't say so. Listen to me clearly. If you didn't hear me, you call my attention. I will respond.
Okay.
I mentioned agencies here. I told you that we met the total staff of 800 and something persons in government house alone. That's number one. On its own, please. It's important to understand this. And I told you that we have key agencies, state agencies that are domiciled in government house, that are addressed as institutions under government house. So the headline is usually government house. I mentioned fire service.
I have to go to peace, but it would have been. Yes, Ferdinand. Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you, Ferdinand. But yes, Ferdinand. Please. What I want to say is, we need you as a special advisor on media and publicity governor to come on this program tomorrow or some other day with a breakdown of all you have talked about, because just saying, oh, agencies are there, you've not said anything. Sorry, with all amount of respect to you and appreciation for you, but you've not said anything or helped us to really know the truth, because you've not given us the specifics. So we're going to appeal to you to please come back on this program to give us a specific. Because if I went by what I said, or what I earlier thought you said, that 800, this money was spent to pay 800 staff, that would mean that each staff is taking home 2,216,000.
Excuse me.
No, I'm not saying that's the case. That's why I'm appealing to you to come.
What you want to do
yes.
is dangerous.
No. I'm asking you, Ferdinand, please don't threaten me. I'm asking you, Ferdinand, please don't threaten me. No. I'm asking you to please come back.
Don't lie against me.
No, I'm not. I'm asking you, Ferdinand. Maybe you're not hearing me well. I'm asking you to please come back on the program. Like I said, I'm appealing to you. Ferdinand, you need to listen to me, please. I'm saying, please come back on the program. We will appreciate it if you can come back to give us a breakdown of where these monies went. And we're saying, please come back on this program. And I said,
we are ready.
Yes, and I said, I'm happy, Ferdinand. Yes, please, I'm still on the floor. I'm happy you clarified, that the money was not just spent to pay 800 staff, because that would have been an amount of 2.2 million per staff. We have to go. I want to thank you, and also, Peace, I'm sorry, your line was cutting at some point. I don't know if we still have you, but Peace, Kalu, and Mr. Special Advisor, yes, Peace, sorry about that. We lost you along the line. But Ferdinand Ekeoma, thank you so much. Peace, Kalu, thank you very much for your time. Yes.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be back after this break to look at the finances of Lagos State. What a day. Please stay with us.